Hello and welcome to Books of Blood. My name is John, and tonight I'm going to be bringing you my August wrap-up. So let's see, in August I read 12 books. I DNF'd one book, which was an ebook. I don't have the photo for it, but it was Gills by Abe Moss. I got about a quarter of the way through the book, and it was not doing it for me whatsoever. It's definitely not what I expected. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into the way. Some of these I'll read the synopsis for, some of them I won't, but to give you a general idea, and I'll give you my rating on them also. So here we go. First up, we got Curse of the Pigman by Asher Ellis. And this is a advanced reader copy that I received from Silver Shamrock Publishing, so thank you for that. Let's see. Failed baseball player Jason Dillon has just moved to the quiet Vermont town of East Valley, but unfortunately his timing couldn't have been worse. Though the entire 20th century only brought 8 notable storms to the Green Mountain State, Hurricane Ivana has just arrived with a special delivery, a tree through Jason's roof. On his desperate trek to find help, Jason comes upon Sophia, a little girl who has been tied up and left in the woods. Despite his best intentions, Jason's attempt to help the child has interrupted the ritual of a neighborhood cult, a ritual that protects the town from an ancient demonic swine. With all the roads leading out of town impassable, Jason and his few allies must not only escape the pursuing cultists, but somehow survive a curse that has left the majority of East Valley's population with an insatiable hunger. Cultists, cannibals, and the demon itself must all be defeated if Jason and his friends are going to survive the curse of the Pigman. I give this one 4 stars. It's a really good read, a really fast-paced read, usually something exciting, a lot of action happening throughout. So yeah, 4 stars, Curse of the Pigman. Moving on. This was another one that was an advanced reader copy from Silver Shamrock. Silver Shamrock Publishing. So again, thank you guys. This is Slaves of Gravity. It's by Wesley Southard and Summer Cannon. And I believe I gave this one, I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I've heard a few other reviews on it that didn't give it as high, but like I said, I really enjoyed it. And it's all a matter of opinion anyway. A book that I read that might be 5 stars to me might be 3 stars to you, or whatever, so on and so forth. So there you go. Anyway, it's about this woman that is paralyzed after an accident, and she finds out that she has this rather unique ability. Despite the fact she's paralyzed, she can fly. And she meets these other people that can fly also, but then there are other people that want to keep her from flying. They want to make her a slave to gravity. That's henceforth the title. Pretty exciting little read. Pretty fun little read too, So yeah, that's why I give it 4 stars. Or 5 stars, excuse me. So Slaves to Gravity. All right, next up, got a little bit of a haunted house story here from Keelan Patrick Burke. And anytime it's a Keelan Patrick Burke book, and a lot of the ones that are done, the covers that are done for Silver Shamrock, a lot of those are done by his design company, which is called Elder Lemon Design. And this is no exception. And I don't think this is Silver Shamrock, though. It is, I think, self-published. But yeah, look at that really creepy cover. When you first look at it, that's the thing I like about his books, his covers and his cover art, is when you first look at it, you're like, okay, it's kind of ordinary, kind of plain. Then you look and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, there's an eyeball right there. So anyway, this is kind of a found footage. It's called The House on Abigail Lane. And see what I gave this one's 4.5 stars. And it's kind of a found footage haunted house book. And what happens is that when certain people, and really no explanation as to why, but when certain people go up to the 2nd floor, they disappear. And they leave like something behind. Like one guy leaves behind, I think, a glass eye. Another guy, or what we got here? At least some guy, one of them leaves behind a wedding ring. But it's a pretty exciting little book. I mean, I enjoyed it. Like I said, it's like found footage horror novel or haunted house book. So yeah, 4.5 stars. House on Abigail Lane. Okay, next up we got from Mike or M. Enenbach, we got Hunger on the Chisholm Trail. And this is part 2 of the Splatter Western series. And this one is about a Wendigo, or this, which is a creature, a hunger creature. It's it's killing people on this trail, the Chisholm Trail. And the trail leads into this town called Duncan. I'll read the synopsis for you. The first cattle drive of the season leaves Texas for Abilene, Kansas along the Chisholm Trail. But unforeseen terrors lay hidden in the natural beauty of the land. In the heart of Indian Territory lies the sleepy town of Duncan, a friendly respite from the dusty land. But something lurks in the untamed west, a powerful creature that hunts to satiate its horrifying hunger. The land will run red with blood, and only Carl Beck stands a chance against the ancient evil. Yeah, like I said, that is Hunger on the Chisholm Trail. Awesome cover. There's the creature right there. Then, of course, the cow looking kind of, looking worse for wearing. See the creature's claw coming around and coming here. And I guess this might be the town of Duncan, like the church or something back here. So, yeah, this was a, got 4.5 star rating. I gave that one 4.5 stars also. All right, next up from John Langan, we've got The Fisherman. And this was a slow burn of a book, but it is a fantastic book. It's part cosmic horror, part about grief and how we handle grief. Just a fantastic book. It's about these two guys that both of them have lost their wives, and one guy's lost his wife and kids. And they come together and they cope with it by going fishing, and they find all these cool fishing spots. Well, they go to this one place and they're told the story about this kind of this cosmic entity that came to this town like many years ago, and about this kind of like it's not really a cult or anything like that, but it's just a really cool, awesome book. And I'm really not giving you a great synopsis of it, but but to me, this book was really about how people handle grief in different ways, because that's exactly what happens in this book. Is these two guys handle their grief in totally different ways, and I think that's the underlying theme of the story. The cosmic horror of the story was just a backdrop for the novel. So yeah, The Fisherman, 5 stars for sure. Love this book. All right, next up from Joshua Marcella. This is his debut novella, and this is Scratches. Gave this one 4 stars. A mother and son with a strained relationship inherit a house following the sudden death of a family member with a violent past. When the son moves his bedroom into the basement, he starts to experience unexplainable and terrifying phenomena. After he uncovers a dark secret concealed in the house, they quickly learn that some truths are better left in mystery. Can they overcome their differences in order to survive, or will the darkness consume them both? All right, like I said, this is a really quick, creepy read, and I give it 4 stars. All right, what else we got up here? Okay, here we go. This one I give 2 stars to, because to be honest with you, I don't know what kind of rating to give this book, and I said that in my review. This is one weird book, The Haunted Vagina by Carlton Mellick III. But thinking about it, I'm going to up my star rating for this. I'm going to give it a 3-star rating overall, because despite the fact that it's weird, it was a pretty well-written book and had told a pretty interesting but weird story. It was about this girl that has this world within her vajayjay, if you want to put it that way, her vagina, her whatever you want to call it. I'm not going any further with these names, because that's just not right. Anyway, yeah, I'll give it 3 stars. Weird but good. All right. Next up, we got from Thomas Tessier, and let's see. Okay. Let me go back here for a minute here. Curse of the Pigman was part of the Halloween-a-thon challenge that was made up or created by Purgatory Limbo Offerings Booktuber, and that challenge was to read a book with the occult or a cult. All right, there we go. Next one, The House on Halloween Abigail Lane, was also Halloween-a-thon, and that was to read a haunting book. So there we go for that one. Filled that one out. And then now we got Finishing Touches by Thomas Tessier, and this is part of their 3-month Halloween horror reading challenge, and it was created by Richard over at Are You Into Horror? And that was to read, there's like a 3-month thing. So for August, you were supposed to read a book that was 31 years of age or older as of August 1st. And for that one, I read one that was 34 years old, I believe, from 1986, I think. And this was Thomas Tessier's Finishing Touches. Some would argue that this is not an erotic horror novel. I would say that I think it is, but that's my personal opinion. I liked it. It was okay. It was okay, just okay to me. I give it 3 stars. You know, it wasn't a bad novel, and a lot of people did love it. It just didn't do it as much for me as it did for them. Anyway, it's about this guy, a doctor on extended vacation in London. He meets this other doctor who's a cosmetic surgeon, and through this other doctor, he meets this very beautiful woman who kind of starts the cosmetic surgeon and this beautiful woman kind of start luring him in to this very bizarre practice that this cosmetic surgeon is a part of. And I don't want to go any further because I got accused of spoiling when I did my review, and I don't want to do that. That's the last thing I want to do. But like I said, it was good. It just necessarily wasn't as good as I hoped it would be. So 3 stars for this. Finishing Touches. All right, next up we got Dust, and this is book number 3 in the Splatter Western series. It's by Chris Miller. And this is a book of cosmic horror set in the Old West. And it was just like the other 2, Hunger on the Chisholm Trail and The Magpie Coffin. This was a lot of fun. I can't wait to read book 4, The Night Silver River Run Red by Christine Morgan. I've got that one also. But yeah, I'll read the synopsis. They're usually short. 1879, an unknown and timeless evil descends on East Texas. James D., bestowed with knowledge from beyond, moves through time and space, pursuing age-old horrors and ending their reigns. As he seeks the hidden town of Dust to continue his life work, another is hot on his heel and will stop at nothing to rip the divine knowledge from D. As 3 opposing forces collide, D becomes both hero and villain in his quest against the elders. He doesn't have time to be sorry. There are gods to kill. That is Dust by Chris Miller. What'd I give that one? 4 stars. 4 stars. Okay, next up, got one by Chad Nicholas, and this is one that's been making the rounds. And I believe just about every review that I've read has been, or heard, or watched, or whatever, has been positive, and so is my own. This is called Nightmare. And I'll read the synopsis for you. Had it come back? No, it couldn't have. He had buried it for good, or at least that's what Scott told himself. But what if it had? Was that why the Scarecrow now watched him? But the more Scott tries to ignore it, the more the evidence begins to pile up. So do the bodies. Because sometimes the dead don't stay buried. Sometimes the monster survives. As the bodies mount and the secrets of his past grow more haunting, Scott must do whatever it takes to save his family. But what if by doing so they find out what happened all those years ago? What if they realize what he did? Scott learns that there is no escape from his own past or the crows that have crawled out of it. He can only watch as his life is turned into a living nightmare. And I was actually talked to the author Chad Nicholas on Instagram, and he said that he set out to write a supernatural horror novel, and somewhere along the way it became more of a psychological horror novel. And I told him, I said, yeah, to me it's like you set out writing a supernatural werewolf novel, but then somewhere along the line it became more, and he agreed with that. And I told him, I said, but to be honest with you, this is to me a modern day Jekyll and Hyde, and I really enjoyed this. This is his first novel, and if it's any indication, he's got a good future, a great future ahead of him. I give this one 4.5 stars. All right. Okay. Next up, we got, next to last, we got The Milan Witch. And this is also from Silver Shamrock by Catherine Cavendish. And I give this one, what I give it? 4 stars. And this one fulfills the Coven, or Season 3 prompt of the American Horror Stories Reading Challenge that was created by Prue Pruitt. So that one's 1 down, and I got a couple more I've completed also, but I read those here in September. Anyway, this is about this woman that moves into her sister's cliffside cottage, and it turns out that the cottage is, I guess you could say it's haunted by the spirits of these 2 witches, and what happens is one of the witches has inadvertently been brought back to life or brought back as a spirit, and she wants to be able to bring her sister, the other witch, back. So the woman living in the cottage has got to figure out a way to stop this from happening. Really exciting, really fun, really short read. I went through this in about, I don't know, 2 hours. And like I said, yeah, 4 stars. Fun read, fun read. All right. Last but not least, we have from Lucas Mangum. And when you hear the name Lucas Mangum, you can pretty well expect that his stuff is going to be a little bit or a lot. In the case of Saint Sadist, it is going to be pretty freaking bizarre. And this one is it's not as bizarre as Saint Sadist, but it is still pretty bizarre in some places. I'm talking about Mania, the revised edition. Madness Heart Press is proud to present this revised edition of Splatterpunk Award-winning nominated author Lucas Mangum's novel about cursed screenplays, vengeful ghosts, and Hollywood death cults. A must-have for fans of B-movies, the revised edition contains the never-before-published story Hollywood Blood and Guts and a brand new foreword by the author. Controversial filmmaker William Ward doesn't believe in curses, but he's happy to have the hype surrounding his newest movie, an adaptation of a notorious screenplay with a dark history. As production begins and people start dying, he learns that the curse is all too real and the vengeful ghost haunting the script is only a piece of the puzzle. At its heart lies a shadowy cult manipulating events behind the scenes as dark forces gather around him. Ward and his girlfriend Rachel find a way to break the curse. That kind of spoils it. As dark forces gather around him, Ward and his girlfriend, Rachel must find a way. I thought some said they find a way. I'm like, damn, y'all spoil this. Must find a way to break the curse before it's too late. And that is Mania. And again, that is a revised edition. And Lucas signed this one for me. Right here it says, to John, beware the mother of ghosts, Lucas Mangum. So yeah, that's going to do it for my August reading wrap-up. And I had a pretty good month in August. 12 books, only 2 DNFs. One DNF. One DNF, yeah. And some pretty good overall ratings. So, yeah, that's going to do it. And anyway, enjoy the rest of your weekend. And good night.